और आपको कैसे पता था कि मैं इंडिया के लिए खेलूंगा? क्या गारंटी थी कि that I would finish your dream?
तो आपको क्या गारंटी थी कि स्केटिंग खेल के आप वर्ल्ड चैंपियन बनोगे?
नहीं, बट एक चीज खुशी तो थी मेरे को उसमें।
Let's face it, half of you watching this video have been influenced by your parents one way or the other. According to studies, 82% of parents decide the careers of their children. That was also one of the main motivations behind us making this video, to find out how deep does this rabbit hole go. We decided to go across the streets of India and ask people, did you feel any pressure from your parents while choosing your career?
I wanted to be a doctor, but my parents wanted to be me a civil engineer. So as per their choice, I wanted to do a civil engineering. So it is as per their choice. I didn't like, but I had to do for my parents because I didn't want to make them sad.
When I had to choose for my UG also and my PG also, both times I had like pressure from them. They wanted me to pick something that is contemporary and not something out of the way.
There was immense amount of pressure, and like the main issue is that I'm the older sibling, and it felt like I have the responsibility to lead the way for my younger sibling, and that just felt like so much pressure because my parents would remind me of this constantly.
Or when I was in 12th, I wanted to do fashion design. I mean, I wanted to do something creative. Like, I didn't want to become a software engineer or something. So I did put it across to my parents. And the thing is, they put it on me that, okay, you chose to study science in school. Why did you want to do this?
Parents often play a significant role in shaping our career choices, whether it's through simple guidance or direct influence. Their intentions usually come from a place of love, concern, and their own experiences, wanting the best for their children. Although this well-meaning guidance can feel often overwhelming, especially paired with the societal expectations and fear of judgment, why do you think your parents influenced your career choice?
I feel like it was also a lot of projecting, because they have really stressful jobs. They have their own business that they run, and I don't really blame them. They're really hardworking that way. But at the same time, it just felt like I was put in this chamber, I was locked between these four walls all the time. And it just felt like I didn't have a life beyond studying.
See, they probably want us to succeed. So they want us to get like a high paying job. So I'm like, I didn't take it too personally. I'm like, works.
I kind of feel like they didn't have like a lot of access to a lot of resources to find out that there are different things that one can pursue. And it also probably comes from the fact that our parents are like all aligned to having like a stable job that pays you well.
Maybe they didn't get the chances what they can give it to their children. So they're very specific that we have given to you this, so you have to do it. Their exposure is like only if you do certain typical type of jobs, like let's say engineering and doctor and high paying jobs. Basically you can survive in this fast paced world, but that's not true. If you can find your own way, if you're creative enough, you're passionate enough, then I think anything and everything you work will be great for you.
I think they pressured me because having a kid is tough, because now you are responsible for his entire life, and with that responsibility there's a lot of pressure to make a perfect child. So any imperfection you see in your child, you would want to steer them in the correct way of what other you see examples of from other parents. So I think they were just trying to follow the standard template blueprint of how to raise the best child.
Sometimes the involvement of parents in career decisions can be a little overwhelming. They might either offer suggestions or make direct decisions on behalf of their children. At other times, it may be about the subtle guidance they provide through their expectations, advice, or even how they view success itself. Were your parents involved in any way while choosing your career?
They would always lead me a certain way, but then make it feel like it was my choice. It was gaslighting in a certain way. And then over time, when things were coming to an end, especially with pre-university school and everything, they'd constantly bring it up more and more. In the end, it felt like it was the only choice.
Like I did get to have a say when I did choose my career. So that was one thing. And I've been blessed to have such parents, because weirdly they're very supportive. They didn't let me do something really out of the way, but something like within, which fits in the box that they have like created for themselves.
There was pressure to choose the correct occupation because my father is a banker, my mom's a housewife. So education was a big part of trying to shift my life in the correct direction, because I was always into arts. I still am. My mom told me that it's not a direct career option. You can't pursue these without first having a backup, which I feel like was true to some degree.
I would like to say that they were laid back, but then they were also very involved in it. Like they gave me two choices. It was either medicine or engineering. So for me, that was like, oh shit, they're giving me two choices. But later on, I'm like, okay, that was like a very safe choice for parents. So asked me to take this stream, or they kind of guided me and kind of made me like, okay, I want you to take that stream because that is better for your life.
This is the India our parents used to live in. An India with fewer resources and job opportunities. Because of these circumstances, many had to set aside their dreams and goals just to survive. Sometimes these unfulfilled dreams are projected onto their own children without considering what the child's passions are. Did your parents want your success, or did they want to fulfill their own dreams through you?
No, CS wasn't really that big when my dad was there, but then it's mostly because of salary, and then he saw he's like, okay, maybe he might like coding, so might as well try CS.
My parents also did give a damn about what the society thinks, but also like they gave me the choice at the end of the day. But one thing for sure is it's never been like, okay, something like they couldn't achieve it, so I want my daughter to achieve it. It's never been that.
There's always been this environment, especially with my friends and family circle, where like one person always tries to prove that they're better than the other. And if it felt like a losing streak for my parents for a while, then it honestly just collided with the fact that they wanted me to do something that they couldn't do.
The constant pressure around career choices can often create tension and strain the relationship between parents and their children. When their expectations does not match up with your aspirations, it can lead to misunderstandings, frustrations, and even feelings of resentment. Did your parents' career pressure affect your relationship with them?
It just felt like I'm doing something wrong and under supervision, and I was constantly reminded like, oh, you have to do this, you have to do that. Why are you spending so much time playing games? Why are you hanging out with your friends so much?
It has, but I was a naive young child, so I genuinely thought that they knew better, and they did at some points. But the part where they did let me, if they did let me choose my own thing and maybe kind of just help me learn by failing, I think that would have helped me grow as a person better.
There was a rough phase where they were like doctor, and then I chose to be a physiotherapist. So they didn't agree to it. Like they didn't completely agree to it. They were like skeptical about it. But then when they saw me get settled within like the first year of college and stuff, it like slowly went down and things became normal.
Multiple times. In fact, the only time there has been tension is been because of this. There's been a lot of times that I've thrown tantrums, rebellions against my parents, and they felt really bad and they've had to second guess everything. They almost considered sending me to a boarding school because I didn't want to do what they wanted me to do. I was forced into coaching.
Reflecting on how parents influence their career choices, one might reflect on how they would have handled the situation differently if they were parents themselves. The biggest challenge would be in finding a balance between giving advice and letting the child make their own decisions. What would you do differently if you were a parent?
Few of the things I'd pick up from my parents is to like trust the choice of the child. Yeah, there has been rough phases, but there was a point where they were like, okay, fine, we'll let you do it. So I think I'll put in more of that within, like as a parent, within my child. I'm like, okay, you want to do this? Go ahead and do it. I trust you.
I'm not sad with my life, so I would do exactly what my parents have done. Without a doubt. Because like I know that they did it for my good. So like I would tell my child, choose this. But if he has other choices, I would respect it.
I think every generation learns from the previous generation's mistakes. My parents, were not as conservative as their parents. That is something that they learned from their own parents, where they're very restricted. And I think a lot of things I learned from my parents also were the fact that I just want to give a bit of freedom to my kids. If they do want to experience something, I just want them to learn by failing. I don't want them to stop them from failing, because failure is a very good teacher.
It's important to remember that your career is your own journey. It might be daunting to take the first step towards a new career path, especially when you're afraid of how your parents might react to it. Trust your instincts and prioritize your happiness and fulfillment. What tips would you give to people who want to shift careers but are scared of how their parents might react to it?
If you want to do anything, you have to stick on that point. Then at a certain time, parents can understand. Obviously, they don't want anything wrong to happen with their kid. So they will understand. But as we have to stick our points. Then only it can be better.
And we should give them that confidence, yes, we will do this and we'll achieve what we have dreamt of it. So that is what we give the confidence to them, and they'll obviously come out of that.